Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the morning show. And it is I don't know what it's going to do today, Wednesday. How's that?
That sounds good.
Yeah, it's going to rain, it's going to sunshine, I don't know. It hasn't decided yet. But I can tell you that it's sunny in here because our friends Bruce and Greg are here, and we are going to talk about something very special coming up. Is it this weekend?
This weekend.
All right, and that's Armed Forces Day, and these guys are going to tell you all the skinny about it. But before we do that, we have a message, and then we'll be right back.
At Vinton County National Bank, we believe in supporting the areas where we live and work. Now, we'd like to honor those who also serve our communities. Our new Community Champions account is especially for first responders, veterans, active military, and anyone employed in the fields of healthcare or education. This account offers rewards, discounts, and other benefits to those who give so much to others. Vinton County National Bank, rewarding those who serve.
All right, and we are back again with our good friend Bruce here. Greg over to my right. Well, I guess you're both to my right, but to Bruce's right.
I'm off.
Okay.
I have been most of my life.
No, you're the thorn between the roses or the rose between the thorns. Either way, I'm not sure which.
I'll accept thorn.
The roses.
Okay.
I don't know about the rose over here, though.
I don't know. Well, I don't know that I'm a rose either, so we'll just get ourselves in all kind of trouble today. I already got myself in trouble on the radio,
Yeah,
but we're not gonna reiterate that here on my clean little TV show because we are sweet and wholesome over here on this side of the building.
Yeah, might have to have a reenactment.
No.
No?
Nope. One and done.
Okay.
One and done.
Okay.
All right. So, yeah, no reenactments.
Okay.
Either literally or figuratively.
Okay.
All right. So we do have the guys here, and you are coming on to talk about Armed Forces Day, which you said, I think it's this Saturday, right?
Right. Starts at noon.
And tell us a little bit about this, because I know that you guys have been here in the past to talk about it. We're on year 3 now. Can you believe it?
Third annual.
Seems like we're here talking about the first one.
I know.
So this is so cool. So tell us how all of this got started. I mean, we have 20 minutes or so. You can tell a long story.
Go ahead, Bruce.
Well, it actually started out with the VFW post here in Jackson. And Renee, this guy's other half.
Yes.
She got an idea that maybe we should do something for Armed Forces Day. So
because that includes everybody, which is super cool.
Yes, it does, but it's really geared toward active duty people.
Okay.
People that are serving currently.
Gotcha.
And most of them that will be coming in are either home on leave or they're part of the Guard or whatever the case may be. But that's how it all started, and all the veterans organizations in the county came together and formed it to where it would not cost anything to have a veteran come and enjoy the afternoon with his family.
As it should be.
Yeah. So that's how it got started, and every year, this is our third, as we mentioned. It's growing. It's growing.
Big.
As it should be.
Big.
Well, you guys were saying that it almost takes over the park. Like it's gotten so large.
Very close, yes.
Well, here's the deal about the park. So, it's hard you have to reserve it 90 days out. And usually nobody's doing anything in May. Well, this year there was another group of, they're actually a group of veterans. Most of them are veterans, but they're going to have a strongman contest, and they were posting that they were having a strongman contest the same day we're having our picnic. So what we did was we put in for it, we got it. Then they didn't know what to do, so we reached out to them and said, "Hey, Why don't you be part of us?
Let's like combine
Yeah.
forces.
Absolutely.
That's
And
awesome.
Come to find out, veterans started this strongman contest in, don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure it's North Carolina, and they moved up here. Now they're going to do them up here. So,
Super
with that
cool.
said, we're going to have veterans in a strongman contest. I guess this is where they have the big tires and they gotta flip them and do and drag stuff. I don't know. I've not been to one, so. But I
You
do
mean
know.
you don't enter those?
I don't want to embarrass them.
I know.
You know?
I get it.
This little guy could do it, with a tractor maybe.
Yeah.
So, but so that's a big push this year because that's going to add to the entertainment that we have. Now those guys
Love that.
They're going to be from like 9 in the morning. They're going to start theirs about 9, and they're going to quit about 3 o'clock.
Okay.
Okay. So with that said, we're still going to have all of our organizations, the American Legion, the AMVETS, the VFWs. We even have last year, and I think they're coming this year, we're going to have the district VFW bring in a booth and sit and talk about why you should be a member of one of these organizations.
Okay.
And then we're going to have, of course, all the free food. We're going to have the hot dogs, the hamburgers, the chips. The friend of mine, he does a great big pot of beans, and so we have pot of beans on the fire. We're having people from Wounded Warrior. We're supposed to have a guy that Generosity Reflections. He started this group to help with PTSD, and what he does is he teaches art, and they'll put their reflections of what's in their head on paper. And I've seen some of the work.
Interesting.
Oh,
that has to be therapeutic.
and so they're using this, and they're actually they travel with it for a while throughout the summer. Then at Wright-Patterson, they're actually going to have a permanent display of these artworks of these what these veterans put out. So I'm hoping he gets to come. But he called me yesterday and he says, look, it's looking like rain and I'm not going to be able to put these paintings out in the rain. I'm like, I understand. But if it's not raining, hopefully he'll make it. So that's another additive.
Very cool.
To it. Yeah. Marco the Clown will still be there. And we have there's another organization that builds tiny homes and stuff for veterans. So I'm pretty sure they're coming. I don't remember the exact title of who they are, but we'll have several organizations there that are just to help with veterans. So, and I can't think of anything else. I mean, I'm hitting about everything.
We was talking about all the veterans organizations. 40 and 8, Jackson County.
Yes.
40 and 8
Yeah.
will be there. That's usually veterans also, usually from our club.
Yeah.
But it's Jackson County, so anybody that wants to be involved with the 40 and 8, you can contact our post in Wellston, and we can set you up to come up and be a member of that group.
Do a lot of good.
Yes.
Throughout the community.
Yes, and they're the ones that do the
Those
Christmas
food
baskets,
boxes
yeah.
and oh my gosh.
Yeah, they're
A
big.
bazillion of them
Yes,
too.
yes.
I will tell you that every veterans organization in this county puts out tremendous community effort for anything and everything. And so with this picnic, it just kind of brings us all together at one time. We don't all get together, we're in different walks of life, throughout the year. But this one time, all the veterans of Jackson County or wherever county, we don't care. If you're in the neighborhood, come. And if you're not a veteran, we would love to see you there. Love to see the park full of kids. We've got all these big bouncy houses. We still, apparently we got new ones this year.
Are you going to play in there?
Oh, trust me, we've had the ladies go down the bouncy houses.
I mean, it sounds like fun to me.
Well, it is. So we just like, I'd love to see the park plumb full of kids, and that's what we're about, just giving back to the community. And then with this, we get to all come together to give back to the community and to recognize our active duty. We will have also the Army. There's 2 recruiters bringing their recruits, and they will swear in after our opening ceremony. So we're going to have a swear in.
That's exciting.
Oh,
Yeah.
This happened by accident the first year.
At the very first year.
It just
was
did.
like
It just had the
4 or 5
cadre
guys.
came up to us, a lieutenant. I wish I could remember her name, but it's just a short little thing and tiny. And she said, "Do you guys care if we enlist our soldiers today?" And we're like, "Are you kidding?"
That is super cool.
I said, "Just keep me back away from it so you don't accidentally get me again." So, but yeah, so that's going to be cool. So we're going to have, I don't know how many they're bringing, but so each year we've had a swear in at our picnic.
Yes.
That is
Both
so
years.
neat.
So it's hard to get these recruiters and stuff to come all the time because, and to get a hold of them, but
They're busy.
they're busy.
Yeah, and we understand that. But usually someone shows up.
Yeah.
So last year was supposed to have trucks like they're planning on bringing this year. But for whatever reason, they had something else going on and the trucks were,
Gotcha. Somewhere else.
doing something else. So the band that we're having, Bad Influence, who was doing the entertainment for us the last 2 years.
Are they truly a bad influence?
They probably
They
are.
probably could be, yes.
Yeah.
But they had, correct me if I'm deadly wrong, I think they had a guy that passed away.
Oh no.
No, he was ill.
Okay.
I don't think he's passed
Oh,
away,
okay.
but he's ill. But
Sorry.
They actually decided to stop doing any events. So
Oh, so you're
Yeah.
kind of special, huh?
Kind of, yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, the group that coming in tomorrow to entertain,
Saturday.
or Saturday, yes. Then get me started here. Thirst E Pony,
Thirsty Pony, yes.
and they're from Jackson, and they'll be entertaining. So
So there you
And
go.
they
We
are
got a
entertaining.
local Jackson band putting their time in to come to the
Heck
picnic.
yeah.
And so if you're a Thirsty Pony follower, you're welcome to come to the park. You
Absolutely.
got free food. And I'd like to reiterate that this is a no alcoholic picnic. So there'll be no.
Well, yeah, we need to keep it
This
family
is
friendly.
a family picnic. And
Well, number 2, it's illegal to drink in the city park. So
well, there you go. But,
yeah, that has a big
we
bearing.
don't want to do
That
that.
has a big bearing on it too.
Yeah.
So
No.
well, some people can find ways around that, but we're not having no alcohol. We want it to be
Sure.
friendly and family oriented. And,
Yeah, we want the kids to have fun too.
Yeah, and let the kids have fun. So
yep.
we'll be having giveaways. We're excuse me, giving away fishing poles. Sorry, and flowers and stuff. So for door prizes. So
Nice.
we got all kinds of things going on.
So who's invited to this?
Everybody.
So do you have to be a veteran?
Nope. There's no way we can dictate that.
I gotta get some.
Yep. Adrian.
We've always had it open for everybody.
Yeah.
Because we can't control who comes in and goes, and whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's.
Can you get him some water, Adrian? Please. Thanks.
Yep, he had a tickle in his throat.
He got the tickle in the throat. It happens. I think it's this room, I swear.
The VA mobile unit will also be there. People can come and sign up to be a part of that. They're in Wellston on Tuesdays and Mondays.
So this is such an amazing thing that I hope that more people will keep taking advantage of.
I do too.
I mean, it is. It's
There's
a gift.
just- yeah,
it
it
truly
is.
is a gift to our community.
And it's a much better, easier way of getting your VA attention, so to say. You don't have to go clear to Chillicothe to do it. You can go to the bus. They don't do everything.
Yes.
But some of the necessities they can do right there on the VA bus.
Well, here's the thing. If nothing else, you get started there.
Right.
You get assessed, and then they can help you get to where you need if
Absolutely.
it's something further than what they can do there.
Yep. They'll be there.
Super cool.
They can sign you up and set you up with an appointment and whatever. So, yep.
Very good. Oh, he made
He's
it.
back.
Sorry.
No, I think it's this room, I swear.
It's warm.
It's
And my sinus is going. And
oh, I get, 'tis the season.
'tis the season of
Yeah.
sinuses, and I got them. So
I get it, honey.
Yes.
Trust me.
apologize for that.
Yep, nope, all good. No, we were talking about the mobile clinic and what a treasure it is for our area, and we hope that people continue to take advantage of it.
So let me. I can expand on that because I've been really pushing it a lot. With this mobile unit, they Wellston let them set up, and they've been there probably 2 years now.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So
Going on
about
2
2
years,
years.
yeah.
So the more veterans that we have going to this van, I think we're right around. They have 200 patients right now. We're looking to get a little bit more between 250, around 250 to 300, and then they'll build a
Like an actual brick and mortar
Yeah.
place.
Yeah. Yes.
for all veterans in
In the
this
area.
to go to instead of having to go to Parkersburg or Ashland or Charleston or Cleveland or Chillicothe. It'll be right here. And the doctor
Jenkins.
is correct. And his staff is awesome.
Yeah.
And I promise you, they will take very good care of you. I transferred in there this past winter, and it's easy to get out. I know they're only there Monday and Tuesdays, but if you really need to see them, you could still go to their location in the Plains, which is over in Athens, and it's just about the same drive as it would take you to get to Chillicothe
Sure.
VA. And they're so hopefully last year we signed up 14 at the park.
Awesome.
And we had veterans going over and just having their blood pressure checked or getting
As you should, all the time.
right,
Yep.
and getting information and stuff from them. So they'll be set up just right outside the park there by the bridge. And I encourage anyone who's thinking about transferring in from like Chillicothe or wherever, please do so, because I'm telling you, they are very good at what they do, and you'll love it. Also, if you're wanting to sign up through the VA, just bring your DD-214 down, and they will enroll you.
That's what I was going to say.
the-
Like
on
if
the
you
spot.
if you haven't, if you're without doctor or you're without anything, they can help get you started,
Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
which is super
Yes.
awesome
And
too.
it's, and it's easy, and the ladies that'll be there are outstanding. They're the ladies that do that. They travel. They contact us every year. We're still coming, right? Well, yeah. Well, you're the main attraction, so it'll be great. So if you're looking to find your health care through the VA, this is opportunity for you to come and talk to them without having to go to Chillicothe and figure out, where do I go, what building, who do I talk to.
Right.
They're right there specifically for this.
There you go. All right, and well, let's talk about this one more time because we do have another segment we have to get to. So says Adrian, who, I told you he's sassy over there. So
He's shaking his head.
look at him. He's trying to be all innocent. He's not. No, let's go over this one more time just so everybody knows.
Well, third annual Armed Forces Day Picnic,
Yep.
Manpower Park, Starts at noon Saturday and goes until 4 o'clock.
And everybody is welcome.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's no way, as we said before, there's no way of dictating who's a veteran or who's not a veteran. It's open to anybody.
You know, and if you're not a veteran or haven't served, thank one that has, you know?
Absolutely.
I mean, I can see a lot of folks showing up just to celebrate folks that have
Last year
served.
we had a lot of new, just community people showing
Good.
up because they're realizing, hey, we can go. They said we can, and we really want you to.
And that's
Yes.
like the fun part of it. Just
We want
have the whole
ev-
community there.
We want
Yes.
everybody
Yes.
there.
Yeah.
And I promise you, the food's good. It's free. Remember, everything's free. So come out and join us.
Just and come out and support those veterans that's going to be there.
Yes.
They gave a lot of their life and time to this country, to our communities here in the area. Come out and help us celebrate. That's what we're looking for.
There you
Exactly.
go. Well, you guys, thank you for
Thank
hanging
you.
out
Well,
with me
thanks
this
for having
morning.
us again. Hopefully you get to see us again next year.
Heck yeah. And maybe before that, you never know.
Never know.
We'd like to see you there too.
I
right.
want to mention one other thing, and it has nothing to do with the Armed Forces
Yeah.
picnic. Tomorrow is Law Enforcement Memorial Day,
Okay.
and the president has declared the flags flight half staff
Okay.
for all the law enforcement people that have lost their lives.
Absolutely.
So I just thought I'd mention that.
I'm glad you did.
Law enforcement.
Thank
Oh,
you
and
for
by the
letting
way,
us know.
first responders, you're more than welcome to this
Absolutely.
celebration tomorrow. Or I went tomorrow again, but Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, my days are all running together.
You're fine. You're fine.
Jennifer, thank you.
Oh,
Appreciate
thank you.
it.
Well, stick here with me for a second.
Okay.
Okay, so we do have another message or so, and then, right, Adrian? Okay, he gave me the thumbs up. And then we have a message, and this is an interview with the Pixelle. This is going to be interesting. The Pixelle Union president, Jeff Allen. And if you don't know, the Pixelle plant is what we all know as Mead, who announced that they are closing. And our good friend Lori Graves has actually sat down with the union president to catch his thoughts on all of this and maybe get some insider information. I don't know. I haven't heard the interview, so
I really hope that they can work something out.
me
over
too.
there. Because that would be a humongous loss.
It would be,
to Chillicothe.
absolutely. So
So-
we do have a message or two, and then we are going to be back with that Pixelle Union president. And so thanks for hanging with me.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back.
From breaking news to heartwarming stories, the Telegram is your ticket to the latest buzz in town.
Read your daily dose of local headlines, sports, and entertainment and more, in hand and on paper.
Get a print and digital subscription for only $7.95 per month. Delivered fresh every Wednesday and Saturday.
Visit thetelegramnews.com or call 740-286-3023 today.
Don't just read the news, be a part of it.
Saturday, August 16th is Southern Rock Woodstock in the Gallipolis Fairgrounds. This event will feature 3 decades of original artists and legends, such as Leonard Skinner, 38 Special, and Molly Hatchet. In light of this event, Total Media will be giving away 4 VIP tickets. For a chance to win these exclusive passes, comment your favorite Southern Rock song, and our staff will vote on which one is the best. Good luck, and may the best man rock out.
Hi, this is Lori Graves. I'm with Main Street TV today, and we are talking with Jeff Allen from Chillicothe. He works at Pixelle, the paper mill. Good morning to you, Jeff.
Good morning.
Thanks for coming to Jackson. We're going to talk today a little bit about that week, that Easter week, and what happened in Chillicothe at Pixelle. And Jeff, introduce yourself to the folks watching. You are the union president?
I am.
Okay.
Yep. I've been there. I've been at the paper mill for almost 37 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been president. This is my second term as a president. I was president in the back in the early 2000s. So I've been involved with the union over my time there.
Okay. Now, are you one of the generational employees? Or
I am. My
are?
grandfather worked there. He's 94 years old. He's a retiree, and my dad worked there for about 30 years also. He was also involved with the union. That's how I got started.
Now, you spoke at the rally that they had, and you did discuss your grandfather. You believe he's the oldest, he may be the oldest living retiree from the mill?
If he's not, he's one of the oldest.
No,
I had a lady come in and correct me at that day.
Oh, she did. Of course they do. yes,
yes,
of course they do. So Jeff, I wanted to talk first about that day, the day that you found out that the mill was closing. How did they let you know about this?
We had a what they call a WARN notice meeting. They presented a letter, told us the mill wasn't viable anymore, wasn't profitable, and that they made the decision to shut it down.
I mean, I know people were blindsided, but you being the union president, were there any red flags in the weeks leading up to this that maybe, were there any hints, rumors that you thought this might be coming? So
there was some rumors floating around. There was some warnings. I mean, the management told us that they were having issues. But we went through that before.
Yeah.
So you kind of thought, this is, it's contract time. We was doing contract talks. But when it finally came to true there, it was a hit in the gut. Right, because there are always rumors. I mean, I'm from Chillicothe. There's always rumors about the Kenworth. Every time that same time of year, you're right. It's always like, oh, it's closing. Yeah. And I know I was at the Hank Studios, and I got the press release from the mill that they put out. And we put that on our Hank Facebook page, and then we had people commenting who worked at the mill that is how they found out. Yeah. They were losing their jobs. So did they not do a company-wide press release, or they just tell kind of upper management? So they had a meeting with management, all management, and they all got their own individual WARN notice. For all hourly employees, myself, 988's president, and 422's president was president of a meeting with HR, the vice president of HR, and the vice president of the paper, and the mill manager, and he gave us one notice for all the employees. So I had one notice for all the employees. For all 800 employees, you had one notice, yes. Yes, and we followed the management. So the management went right out and told the people on the floor, they were just as shocked as what we were. Absolutely. I know. And what was it like? I know because you had the rally on Good Friday, but those couple days in between that, what was it like at the mill? Like, obviously morale probably was low, but tell us from your point of view as an employee and the union president, what was it like inside the walls? It was very sombering. It was the morale was probably at an all-time low, as low as I've ever seen it. And as a union president, there's things I have to do. We have to we do some what they call effects bargaining at the end of a contract, or at the end of a closure. And we were making plans to do effects bargaining to finalize the contract and get the closing part of the contract done. And yeah, it was just very, very quiet, and we had people walking out. Yeah. So no hope. Yeah. They probably thought just hopeless. This is it. Yeah. And they spoke in the speeches and everything. And we know, the paper mill's been in Chillicothe for 213 years, and to hear that just that abruptly, with just bam, we're closing. I can't imagine what the employees were going through, their families and everything. And I know Bernie Moreno came in. And Senator Moreno saved the day. He did. Pretty much. He sent that letter. We got a copy of that letter, I know, at the radio station at Total Media. And it wasn't a kind letter. And he was very to the point. How did that make you feel as a union president to know that a senator from Ohio took that action? Because it's a small town. And you sometimes feel like when you're in small towns that our politicians, especially at the federal level, they don't pay attention to us. So how did that make you and the employees feel that, hey, Moreno's in, he's in the game? It was amazing. I was shocked. So when I found out Senator Moreno was coming and was involved, I was in a bowling league. I got a phone call from a New York number, and I'm at a bowling league, and I'm like, "Can I call you right back?" You know.
Yeah.
So I told him what I was doing, and they said, "Call me when you're done." So I called him when it was done, and I'm like, Senator Moreno and Senator Houston, and they said possibly Governor DeWine, and I mean the whole list of the people that were coming. Congressman Taylor, all the local politicians. Yeah. It was amazing. It was I could just feel the rally building, and it instantly gave me hope.
Yeah, I know. I got contacted about the rally if we would publicize and everything, and we happily did. Being the local radio station there in Chillicothe, and then that next day when you saw all of those people there, like you said, Senator Husted, Dave Yost. David Taylor, Mark Johnson, and then our local leaders, the commissioners were there, the mayor was there. Even before Moreno announced that the mill was going to get a reprieve and stay open until Christmas, when you saw them there, did it give you a sense of hope before you knew the hope was there?
It did. It did, but after the announcement, it was. The three presidents, we were almost euphoric.
Yes,
yeah.
I was there. Obviously for the thing, and I talked to you that day. I saw the rally. I was right there. Senator Moreno, in his opening remarks at the rally, said some things I wanted to ask you about. At one point, when he was opening, he said that he'd been walking through the crowd and he had heard about the conditions in which you had to work, and that they wanted to find a company that would put in the equipment to be successful. Can you explain those comments from your point of view as union president and an employee? What was he talking about in those comments?
I can. So, we've been owned by a couple of investment firms, and they have run the mill, but they haven't put any money back into the mill. So the buildings, like as you just alluded to earlier, is 213 years old. Those buildings are extremely old. The roofs are flat. Lot of drains are plugged. When it rains like it is today and recent times, it rains in the mill just as hard as it does outside. So a lot of wet conditions in the mill.
And those can't be safe.
They are not.
Yes.
Fork trucks have they're not treaded tires. They're rubber tires.
Yeah.
So the concrete that we're driving on is pretty rough, and there's no suspension on the trucks. It needs to be repaired. There's going to have to put some capital into the buildings, and I think they're going to have to put some capital into the machines to maybe. I think if we're going to be viable in long term, I think we're going to have to switch markets. I mean, we've been in the carbonless market and the sheets, and we probably need to, if we want to. I mean, if we were to get in those markets, I'm sure we would do well. What we produce great quality in carbonless paper. We're only one of the few mills that still produce carbonless rolls. So we do a good job with that. But I think if we're going to be viable long term, we definitely need to switch markets, and it's going to take capital. I'm hoping that the government officials can find that money to help somebody put that capital into it.
Right, because it can't continue in the conditions that it's in, as far as like safety for the workers and things of that nature. Moving on to Senator Husted, his comments, he talked about how the mill closing would affect the supply chains and small business. And I want to focus on those supply chains. If you could walk us through, what exactly does it take from beginning to get stuff to the mill and then the product the mill puts out? Who all does that affect?
It affects a lot. There's a lot of, first of all, a lot of delivery truck drivers are bringing the materials in there. We buy we got to buy the wood, and we have chips. So there's folks out there that are chipping. We were always told for every job in the mill there was 3 out in the community. That's what past mill managers have told us in the past. So I mean all the fuel that comes in there to run the machinery out in the wood yard and the trucks inside the mill that we run on natural gas, so LP gas, not natural gas, LP gas. So that's delivered. There's also like just the raw materials, the chemicals. There's a lot of chemicals that go in paper. it's a lot. It's going to hurt Southeast Ohio pretty hard.
Yeah, and like I'm glad you gave that statistic. That was one of my next questions. Is the 3 jobs for every 1 mill worker, and that's not to mention. I know when you guys do shutdowns, you have companies come in to repair the stuff and clean the stuff. So that's a whole other level of workforce that would also be affected by that.
Every motel room is taken.
Yeah.
Those folks have got to eat, so the restaurants are full those weeks. You see the cars from all the different states, where they come in and work. They work for a week, and then they're off to the next one. And we have an annual, and then we have annuals on the machines. So you don't see them in the same level as you do the annual, but you see, a good probably half of those come back and do the work on the paper machines when we have our annuals on the paper machines.
Yeah, so I mean, and again, and not to mention this, like you said, the hotels, the small businesses, the gas stations, the groceries, just everything in our area would be affected by the closing of the mill. And you as a 37-year employee know firsthand, what it's supported your family.
Absolutely.
And we have a lot of families in the area who have both parents working at the mill.
Yep.
So that would be the entire family income lost by the closure of this. Now, Governor DeWine mentioned, that he found out, when we found out. And I just, it would be hard for a business to have to call the governor of Ohio and say, oh, by the way, we're thinking about closing. And I know a lot of people are saying they should have done something, But in the way everything was handled as far as the press conference and, Senator Moreno and DeWine, everybody showing up, do you feel that the progress that they're saying they're going to make, do you feel that any of that has started to happen? Have you seen any of the talk from the politicians? Have you seen any movement toward the progress where they're trying to keep the mill open?
So we're currently trying to get the WARN notice rescinded. And I tell you, I've had multiple conversations with Bernie Moreno's office. And I know that Jobs Ohio, I know the governors back in the Jobs Ohio, they're in conversation. We had a meeting just earlier yesterday about investors coming in. And I know that Jobs Ohio is working with the company on trying to find investors to come in and invest in either another paper company or some kind of other business for the site itself. And the hopes are we can find another business and come right in that can turn it over fairly quick and keep the workers there. But ultimately, I think they're looking at all options.
Yes. And I know it was mentioned throughout the community, and I want to touch on this before we conclude, the pulp mill. Am I saying the correct thing? Is it a pulp? What's the correct word for it?
Pulp mill. Yeah.
The pulp mill. Okay. There are a few of those.
They are.
And we have one of the few in the country. Am I correct in saying that?
So we have one of the largest for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is that original to the actual, like the whole site, like the pulp mill was there?
It is. Yeah.
And I know I looked up where it would be very expensive to build one of those. And since we have one, do you think that pulp mill is in our favor in keeping the paper mill as a whole open?
Oh, absolutely. I think the pulp mill is one of the big assets in Chillicothe. Along with, we got a great sized paper machine in 12. We got access to a lot of water in our area. So we got off-site wells. We're in close proximity of a lot of our raw materials, as in wood. That's one of the key things is we got to have is the wood.
Yeah.
And then we're also we're centrally located. We're within a lot close to Chicago, the New York markets, down south. We're centrally located in the eastern part of the U.S. that we're in a really good place.
Yeah. I know this has just been devastating, but we have hope. Like Governor DeWine said, we have hope. They've gave us hope, Christmas. But, like Husted said, Christmas is going to come quickly.
Yep.
So if you could be in the room with an investor or someone, maybe from another paper company, what would you say to them about the workforce and what they would be getting if they bought into the paper mill in Chillicothe?
Look, I said at the day of the rally, we have a highly motivated and highly skilled workforce, and I wasn't exaggerating. We train, we have great apprenticeship programs. We train the maintenance workers in the mechanical side, which is millwrighting, pipe fitting, welding. We have a great E&I program, which is electrical and instrumentation. We have heavy equipment operators in the wood yard. We have boilers. We got guys that are state certified, state licensed to operate boilers. And just the paper making skills in general are passed down from generation to generation in that place. And we have that. And we're ready to continue to use those skills. And like I said, we are highly skilled and highly motivated.
I know I saw the pride in the employees that day at the rally. Pride that not only, in the job that you do, but just pride in the mill in general. And like you said, generational, you're a third generation, paper mill worker, and you're not the only one.
No.
I mean, there are several. So Jeff, I do hope that things work out for the mill. I'm confident just based on that rally, and you have to be too, just the action that our politicians took in jumping in and saying, we're going to help you. So I do wish you guys the best. Just know that everybody in Southern Ohio is rooting for the paper mill, and they're rooting for you guys. And I thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
Okay, that was Jeff Allen here on Main Street TV from Pixelle. We're talking about when the mill said it was going to close, they've got a reprieve. So we're hoping that's gonna fold true. So Jeff, again, thank you very much, and we'll be back right with you on Main Street TV after these messages.
Did you know Jackson is home to a locally owned and operated full-service print shop? Zip Printing covers all your print, signage, and design needs. From business cards, booklets, and posters to yard signs, banners, screen-printed t-shirts, oversized signage, and more. We can help you or your business advertise and look good doing it. Zip Printing also offers logo design. Allow us to assist you in building or elevating your brand today. Zip Printing is located in the Stockmeister Plaza at 708 East Main Street in Jackson, Ohio. So stop in or give us a call at 740-286-3023.
All right, and we are back with our good friend Pete Wilson. And when Pete Wilson walks in, that means he's going to tell us about some news. Okay. And you said you have a lot of stuff going on.
A lot of stuff. A lot of stuff is half baked in the oven. There's some stuff I haven't put in the oven, but we'll do some fully baked stuff. How's that?
Okay, let's do it.
Okay. Well, this just came through this morning, and this is big. It affects a lot of people. Superintendent Jason Mantell down at Oak Hill, I presume that he was in on this since he's in charge.
Okay.
He looked at his phone, looked at the weather forecast, saw that Friday evening some rain is expected. Now if you wait a little while, it can change. But right now, weather forecast is for rain on Friday evening. He has made the decision to move the graduation ceremony inside.
Okay.
The same thing happened last year. They were going to do it outside at Davis Stadium. Of course, it's nice if it's outside. You have all that room.
It is. It's a lot better.
The bleachers and all. You don't worry about space and being cramped and maybe being too hot in a crowded gymnasium. But unfortunately, the weather, or forecast at least, is not cooperating.
No.
And the announcement was made this morning that the graduation ceremony for the class of 2025 at Oak Hill, which is scheduled for Friday evening at 8 o'clock, will be inside. That means Oak Hill High School Middle School in the gymnasium.
Mm-hmm.
So once again, that is at 8 o'clock. And just a little bit of promo on the Telegram side. As always, we will be doing comprehensive coverage of the graduations. The sales staff works and gets some sponsorships. And, we do some extra pictures and coverage, maybe beyond what we would do if it was just a regular news coverage situation. And so Oak Hill graduates this Friday evening. Vinton County graduates this Friday evening. As far as I know, Vinton County is still outside. They're doing it at the football stadium. Their rain fallback is their gymnasium at the high school as well.
Sure.
But we will check that and make sure on what's happening there. Jackson and Wellston will go the following Friday, which would be the 23rd.
Memorial Day weekend.
All right. Had a couple of notable arrests in the county yesterday.
Oh, my.
And we had the feds involved this time.
Oh, my.
Yeah, that's right. When I say the feds, I mean federal law enforcement people. But this occurred yesterday afternoon. The Jackson County Sheriff's Office was involved. They were contacted. They got a tip, an anonymous tip, that there was a wanted federal fugitive in Madison Township on Sardis Road in a hunting cabin across from Sardis Auto Sales, if that helps pin down the location for the locals. That is in Madison Township and east of Oak Hill. Authorities checked out the information, and the two men who were in the hunting cabin, they were identified, and both had warrants, and one was under investigation, not under investigation, but was wanted as a federal on a federal indictment fugitive.
Oh my
thing.
gosh.
The two men were, the father was Billy J. Teeter Sr., and he is 47 years old, and he was wanted, in fact, by the United States Marshal's Office. That is Billy J. Teeter Sr. on the right, Billy J. Teeter Jr., age 24, on the left, father, son. They were together. They were both wanted. The father, the older man, was wanted by not only the Cuyahoga County Sheriff's Office, but by the U.S. Marshal Service on charges of rape and gross sexual imposition.
Oh my gosh.
He was indicted back in July of 2024 for an alleged incident that occurred in April of 2024. And for whatever reason, maybe crossing county lines or whatever, he was considered to be a federal fugitive. The son, the 24-year-old Billy Teeter Jr., that's Tater, I may not be saying that last name right. He was wanted in Lorain County, that is also northern Ohio, in the Cleveland area. He was indicted in February of this year. He was facing a slew of charges, including failure to comply with an order or signal of a police officer, means he was probably evading them in a vehicle or whatever, tampering with evidence, obstructing official business, operating a vehicle under the influence, failure to stop after an accident, and driving under suspension.
Just bring it over here because neither one of us can see that far.
Oh, okay. This was not yesterday. This was on May the 7th. All right.
Okay.
Wednesday, May the 7th. I am sorry about that, Jeremiah. Okay. Jeremiah did the legwork on this. Received information from the sheriff's office, and we received a report. And I saw the date, and I saw the day, and I'm mixed up.
Well, that was a week ago.
That was exactly a week ago. Correct. But what I've told you about the charges and the situation is accurate on the two men. But they were picked up by the sheriff's office and the federal authorities. The Southern Ohio Fugitive Apprehension Strike Team, doesn't that sound fancy? That's part of the United States Marshal's Office. They made contact with the Northern Ohio Violent Fugitive Task Force, who were searching for Teeter Sr., and both men were arrested on Wednesday afternoon, May the 7th, without incident. And
how'd they end up in a hunting cabin in Oak Hill, Ohio? Well, you just wonder.
Well, they apparently, the property there had been purchased from a local person, and I imagine they were hiding there. That was a nice place to hide in Madison Township when you're wanted, 250 miles away or however far it was up there in northern Ohio. But they were both arrested without incident, and that all started with an anonymous tip called into the Jackson County Sheriff's Office. So I don't know whether the Teeter boys talked a little bit too much or what.
It could be.
But somebody ratted on them.
There's always somebody to rat you out.
Right, exactly. And so they were arrested, and they have since been removed to the counties where they were indicted, Cuyahoga County for Teeter Sr. and Lorain County for Teeter Jr.
Okay.
All right, so we want to follow back up with last week's election. Remember, one of the big stories was the passage of the city income tax in Jackson by a whole 15 votes.
Yeah.
We will follow up, on the official count, which will involve counting all the ballots again that were cast election day and in the early voting period, but plus provisional and late absentees, even though it's only 15 votes, based on the very, very, very light turnout. It's going to take a lot of those handful of votes to turn around that 15-vote difference. As a matter of fact, it is well beyond the level for an automatic recount. It has to be 0.5 of 1%, and it's between 0.5 and 2%, I believe, the differential right now. But anyway, we had follow-up coverage in last Saturday's paper about the election. Got some comments, and we talked with Jackson Mayor Randy Evans, and he shared. I asked him, did you think it was going to pass? Were you worried about it was going to pass? And what he said, because he was asked by a lot of people, and what he told me was, he said, I think it's going to pass, but it will be close. So he was a prophet on that. Maybe a little closer than he would have wanted, but it counts.
But it does count. 15
votes, 1,500 votes, the end result is the same. But I asked him, on the negative vote, since it was pretty close. They certainly put out all the information why they thought it was worth passing. All the improvements that we would not have: street paving, infrastructure projects, full support, full funding for the police department. Those things, were touted as reasons to vote for the income tax. Why did he think that people voted against the income tax? Well, he thought there were maybe three groups. He was speculating, but the three things that he said were: number one, those who are negative towards the city for whatever reason. In other words, they may have
You're
problems.
just mad.
They may have problems with the city in general. They may have some beef that's happened to them in the past. They may not like some of the people who run city government or whatever. But he says they tend to be negative no matter what the situation is. That's group one. Group two, those who feel the city could find another way to fund the operations without an income tax. There are people who've lived here who know that there wasn't an income tax until 2020. That was when it was passed, went into effect in 2021. And of course, he would argue against that because how the city received some funds before, the state auditor's office said, you can't do that.
It anymore.
You can't
It's a
do
big
that.
fat no-no.
You can't do that anymore. And I'm going to say this because a lot of people thought there was some illegal things going on. There was not illegal things going on. The auditor's office allowed that. They kind of always said cautionary things like, this isn't the way you should do it. But they let the city do it.
Yes.
And then in 2017, suddenly they said you can't do it.
Yep.
So anyway, his point, his second group was that people may have thought that why don't we continue to do it that way without the income tax? But he says that is impossible, and the city's not going to do anything that might be or is illegal. So that is how, in the state of Ohio, income taxes are usually the way that most municipalities get their funding. You can do property taxes.
Everybody isn't wrong.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can do property taxes, but property taxes, in a low wealth area, and that's what we are, does not go quite as far as they do maybe in a richer area where property is worth more.
Yep.
And then, of course, the other thing is everybody always likes sales tax. Sales tax does not apply to cities. It applies to counties and the state.
Okay.
All right. So group number three that he identified was those who can't easily afford to pay the tax and are voting their pocketbook. You're always going to have some of that.
Absolutely.
You're going to have folks who, they have trouble making their ends meet, and they might say, I like to have the nice streets, but I can't afford that extra dent in my wallet. And I'm not going to support it because I got to look out for number one.
Yeah.
So there's that group.
Yeah, there are people that will just vote no on any tax regardless of what it is. It doesn't matter. And, you get that too.
Right, exactly. Okay.
So.
All right. Okay. Also, in Vinton County, the countywide issue up there that voters passed, and they passed it by a 61% level, 350 votes to 220 votes, was that public safety communications levy that will support the 911 system. And that was very gratifying, I think, to the people that pushed it, particularly through the Vinton County Sheriff's Office, and other public safety agencies benefited by that because it lost in the general election in November.
Interesting.
And Sheriff Ryan Kane, if this wasn't Sheriff Ryan Kane stating this because it was on the Vinton County Sheriff's Office Facebook, it obviously went through him. But what he said, he wanted to communicate this to the folks of Vinton County, particularly the voters. Thank you, Vinton County, from all of law enforcement, fire, and EMS staffs. Passing this communication levy is critical to keeping communications equipment for fire, EMS, and law enforcement up to date because it better serves the community in emergencies. The equipment used is vital through all emergencies, and like most technologies, the current communications equipment is outdated, and some technologies mandate updates. The levy allows all first responders to afford to stay current in their services. Thank you all very much for the support. All right, we're going to go to sports real quick, and we have some very positive news to report on the tournament softball trail. That has actually started. It started last night, and the Wellston Golden Rockets, who have had a great season, they defeated Fairland by a score of 11-0 in a mercy run rule victory. They are the second seed. That's very high because there's lots of teams. Fairland, for instance, who they played, was the 23rd seed.
Oh, wow.
So that gives you an idea that there's lots of teams in that district in Division 5. But anyway, in that game, Hannah Potts, who I think in a earlier segment of Main Street TV, I said was Sarah Potts. Well, Sarah is her mother.
Yes.
Sarah, well, I think was an athlete in her time.
very much,
I think
yes.
the Dublin area, I think, is where she graduated. She married Mike Potts, a Wellston boy, and they're down here now. And Mike was a wonderful athlete at Wellston High School. Remember, a great basketball player with Coach Jim Darrow back in the glory days there when Jim Darrow was the coach.
Fun fact, I went to Capitol with Mike Potts, too.
Oh, you did? So you know that.
Yeah.
Well, there is Hannah right there. And Hannah, you know what she did? She threw a no-hitter. Surprise,
Of course
surprise.
she did.
Right. Well, she threw a no-hitter against Fairland, and that was amazingly her sixth no-hitter of the season.
Wow.
She has had 2 perfect games, and she's been close to more than perfect games. Perfect games is when there's no errors, no hits, no errors, no walks,
No nothing.
no hits batsman that would ruin it being perfect. But she's had 2 perfect games, 6 no-hitters. Wellston is now 18-2, and they will play next Tuesday at Ohio University against Ross Southeastern. Okay, in another quarterfinal game in Division 5 in softball, the Oak Hill Lady Oaks lost to Piketon, who was very good by a score of 11-0. That was a mercy run rule loss for our Lady Oaks, so they're out of the tournament now. Jackson and Vinton County both have yet to play in the softball tournament.
Okay.
But congratulations to the Lady Rockets, and once again,
That's awesome.
to Hannah Potts, the daughter of Sarah Potts,
Yeah.
and the sister of Maddie Potts,
That's right.
who graduated and is now playing softball, college softball in Michigan.
Yep.
All right, so the Jackson Ironmen baseball team have made headlines again. They played last night, and they defeated the second place Miami Trace Panthers by a score of 3-1. There
Okay.
are the Jackson Ironmen, and we should show their picture because what they did by winning last night 3-1. First of all, they beat the second place team to kind of like emphasize they are the top team in the league. Miami Trace was second, and they lost 4 games in the conference. So big difference there between those 2
Yes.
teams, even though they're both very good. Miami Trace has only lost 4 games all year, 2 to Jackson. But Jackson, with that victory, finished 10-0 in the Frontier Athletic Conference, and they will get what is called the gold ball.
Love that.
A sports team in the Frontier Athletic Conference gets that in any sport when they finish the conference, not only as the champion, but without a single loss.
Undefeated.
Jackson did that this year. Jackson did that last year.
That's
so that
pretty
is
cool.
fantastic. Also last night with that win, Jackson is now 20-1 on the season. So that is the that is the 5th straight season that Jackson has won 20 or more games in a season, and that is not easy to do for a high school baseball team.
No.
So congratulations to Josh McGraw. That is a program with a capital P right there, the Jackson Ironmen. Ironmen, the baseball is behind the softball in the tournament and the schedule. Jackson still has more regular season games to play. They will not play in the tournament until May the 27th. That is the day after Memorial Day.
Okay.
And they will automatically move to what amounts to the district level in Division 4, and they will play the winner of a game between Chillicothe and Warren Local, which is yet to be determined because that game has not yet been played. All right, well, let's see if there's anything else we want to tell you here before we cut off. I want to mention the Rotary Club. This is one of their great projects. I'm talking about the Jackson Rotary Club this time because we have a great Rotary Club in Wellston too. But the Jackson Rotary Club is going to do the Hope Haven picnic tomorrow.
Oh, that's a good one.
They will do it whether it's rain or shine. If they have to go inside, they'll go to Hope Haven. If it's outside, which is preferable, of course, because it's a picnic type thing, it will be at Manpower Park around the shelter house there.
Cool.
And the Rotary Club does this. They have the Hope Haven kids in, all the students and the staff, and they treat them to a picnic-style lunch. And some kids from Jackson High School come down. I don't know whether it's the Student Council or the Honor Society or both, but they always come every year, and they're part of it. They get to eat lunch, too, and then they do activities with all the Hope Haven students. It
Love
is a
that.
real good, feel-good service thing that the Rotary Club does, and that goes back to 2004. I know that because I was the president of the Rotary Club when that got started. So,
Awesome.
So that is that will happen tomorrow Thursday, May 15th, around the noon period there at Manpower Park. So if you see all those people having a good time, that is what it is.
Love that.
So we'll be back tomorrow with some more news.
All right. Well, thank you, Pete, so much. We appreciate that. And it's been a lot of fun here today. We hope that you've enjoyed. We'll be back tomorrow with, let's see, family doctor, Dr. Huntley from Holzer. We always love our friends from Holzer. And we're going to find out also about A Walk to Remember, which is an event coming up. And then we'll also have a movie segment with our good friend Josh Willett. So lots and lots of stuff in the agenda tomorrow. So we'll see you then. Have a great day, and thank you so much for tuning in. Bye-bye.
Thank you.